Don't you girls want to listen to the fight?
We're more interested in the crowd.
Episode 9 is titled Battle of the Century. The title refers to the fight between Jack Dempsey and George Carpentier, and it was, at that point, the Battle of the Century. I'm sure there's been 200 more battles of the century after that, but in 1921, that was the Battle of the Century. It also refers to the battle Nucky's going through with his enemies as well.
Mr. Thompson.
Mr. McGarrett, thanks for coming here.
I understand misfortune's caught up with you.
Doesn't it with everyone?
Nucky visits Ireland in this episode as part of his plan to bring down Jimmy and the Commodore, and he realizes early on in episode 208 that he can get some cheap alcohol in Ireland. The political situation in Ireland at the time was such that, the alcohol business kind of got shut down because of the troubles with the Irish Republican Army and the British government. Alcohol in Belfast kind of slowed to a halt. The whole city was kind of grinding to a halt in a business perspective. Also, Ireland lost their biggest export in the United States. Once Prohibition was introduced, they weren't exporting any alcohol out of there. So it was really, a lot of distilleries went out of business. So Nucky realizes that if he goes over there and finds one of these defunct distilleries that has a surplus of alcohol, he can probably make a deal.
Are you still not feeling well?
I can't move my legs.
The end of episode 8, Margaret refers to the fact that Emily has a fever and she isn't feeling well and she's a little listless. This is a little bit of foreshadowing for what happens in episode 9 when Emily wakes up and tells her mother she can't feel her legs. In the 20s, well past that, the polio epidemic was just rampant, particularly in the summer. Kids who would play around water and lakes at great risk, and parents usually took great precautions. Actually, FDR contracted polio after visiting, I believe, a boys' camp. It's really a devastating illness that causes, in some cases, death, in other cases, paralysis of the legs or other limbs, and sometimes the lungs as well. So diagnosis of polio in 1921 could be devastating in many different ways.
Mama!
I'll go in and hold her. It'll calm her down.
That's out of the question. Polio is highly contagious.
I don't care what happens to me.
Care about the people you come in contact with.
It's really a tremendous strain put on the whole family, and of course Margaret personally, who now is starting to look inward, and think, why is this happening to us, and what have I done? And of course she starts to turn to God, for answers, and she doesn't like what she discovers because she's obviously starting to feel that she might be responsible for this. She starts to look inward and consider her own actions, and maybe thinks that God might be visiting a punishment upon this family, and specifically on her daughter for things that she's done. It's just the whole idea of reminding Nucky and Margaret what is important. All of this is meaningless, the money, the power. Basically what it boils down to is family, once again, which is one of the big themes of our season, and the idea that if you don't have that and you don't have your health, it's all for nothing.
Forgive me for what I brought upon